This is 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
Tonight, a St. Louis man is in the hospital while police search for the robbers who shot him in the head on his wedding night. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. The couple was celebrating their wedding at a home in Dutchtown early Saturday morning when the shooting happened. Our Justina Cornell joins us live from police headquarters after speaking with family. Justina.
Well, family tell me they are devastated and scared about this shooting. Now, this shooting actually happened in the victim's backyard. Now, the family wants justice and answers.
He has a gun. You can kind of see him holding it up.
Instead of looking at wedding photos, Yaribeth Peña intensely stares at surveillance footage.
Because one was shorter and one was taller. Our DJ was standing back here when it happened, so he had a very good look.
There are still remnants of a wedding ceremony. Such a high turned into an incredible low.
She's distraught. She's depressed. She's just heartbroken.
Friday evening, Dulce and Manuel Gonzalez tied the knot. After a decade together and 2 kids, this was meant to be a peak moment.
I've always felt safe in our backyard.
Peña lives right next door to her little sister Dulce in Dutchtown. The idea was to have an intimate celebration.
We were just hanging out.
Shortly after midnight, Peña said 2 armed men in masks walked through the gate.
They just said, "Don't move." As soon as he said that, I ran inside so I didn't witness when he got shot. I heard the gunshot when I was running through the house.
Police say one of the men was going through people's pockets and the other armed man stood behind the groom.
They were saying that my brother-in-law was going for his wallet and maybe they thought he was going for a weapon.
He was shot in the head and the 2 armed men ran away. Here is ring door video of them taking off. The groom, 32-year-old Manuel Gonzalez, is now in the hospital.
He's in critical condition. He's fighting for his life. I'm just hoping that he pulls through.
Peña begs for a break in the case for the bride.
I would like for the community to help us locate these suspects.
There are no arrests yet, and family are asking if anyone has information to come forward and to reach out to police. Now, there is a GoFundMe set up to help the family during this time. If you'd like to help, you can head to our website, case2k.com, and go to the section as seen on TV. Reporting live, Justina Cornell, 5 on your side.
Tonight, we're hearing from a group behind a pro-Palestine protest after they disrupted the Grand Pride Parade downtown. Nearly 24 protesters were arrested yesterday in downtown St. Louis. They are now out of jail. 5 on your side's Megan Kernan has the latest message from them and new reaction from Pride STL. Megan.
And the protesters held a press conference this afternoon outside of the City Justice Center here. Tonight, we're hearing from both sides as those protesters continue to call out Pride STL's ties with Boeing and the war in Gaza.
A group of pro-Palestine protesters took over the 44th annual Grand Pride Parade shortly after it started Sunday. They entered the parade route denouncing genocide, connected themselves with chains and metal pipes, and blocked the participants from walking down Market Street. Jordan Braxton with Pride STL says the group spoke with the protesters before the parade.
They were given the opportunity to march down the parade route before the parade start and get their message out and even hand out literature, but I guess they didn't opt for that option.
Protesters say they didn't want Pride STL to accept funding from Boeing, the title sponsor of the parade. That's after reports linking Boeing to bombs used in Israel's war against Hamas in Gaza.
We've been working to get Boeing out of Pride. We've been working to get these other corporate sponsors that are pillaging the planet.
Boeing is a sponsor, yes, but the sponsorships that we get from people keep our festival free. If we start denying or refusing sponsorship from companies that our community doesn't like, then we're going to have to start charging.
Officers asked the protesters to leave several times. When they didn't, 19 protesters ranging from 21 to 36 years old were arrested.
Not one participant left the parade and the crowd stayed. We were still 15, 20 people deep, even after the hour delay.
We will continue to make our voices heard. Get used to it. We're not going anywhere. The fight continues.
You know, we won't stop until we're free.
The group says they'll continue protesting throughout the summer. Police have asked prosecutors to file charges for trespassing and resisting arrest. 5 on Your Side has reached out to Boeing for a response. We'll let you know if we hear back. Live in downtown St. Louis, Megan Kernan, 5 on Your Side.
Tonight, former President Donald Trump is celebrating a victory at the Supreme Court. Justices granted presidents immunity for all official acts taken in office and made it harder to convict presidents for private acts. Our political editor Mark Maxwell has more on how this new precedent could shape the race for president and reaction from local politicians. Mark?
Yeah, Mike, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, sometimes floated as a potential Democratic presidential candidate if Joe Biden drops out, reacted today and said this. He said, quote, "When Trump tried to overturn the results of an election he lost in 2020, it was not the official act of a president. Rather, it was the act of a despotic narcissist attempting to overthrow our democracy, to cling to power, and he needs to answer for his actions." But a legal expert we talked to said this ruling narrows down those options.
It makes impeachment much more important, and it makes the idea of prosecuting a president in a local courtroom much less likely.
5 on Your Side legal analyst Anders Walker reacted to a 6-3 Supreme Court ruling where the conservative majority warned of an executive branch that cannibalizes itself, with each successive president free to prosecute his predecessors.
I think the court is more worried about using the criminal justice system for retribution, criminal cases being brought against incumbent presidents to derail them.
This case isn't about an incumbent president, it's about a former president.
True, but we all know there's an election coming up in November.
The court ruling granted Donald Trump immunity from any conversations he had with Justice Department officials, but lower courts must eventually decide whether conversations Trump held with Vice President Mike Pence were official acts. How hard is it going to be to prove that those were private acts?
I think it's going to be very hard.
It just got less likely to prove that?
It got less likely. The court has been very reluctant to step in and say some things are official, some things aren't. If you're President of the United States, pretty much everything you do is official.
Justice Amy Coney Barrett agreed with the majority opinion with one major caveat. Did this court just say you can legally bribe a president?
Maybe. That depends on how you define a bribe.
You have to have an official act for it to be a bribe. This for that, and then that has to be an official act.
That could be diplomacy.
Or as Rod Blagojevich would have said, just politics.
Yes.
This ruling underscoring the immense power and public trust we place in the hands of our president. It underscores the importance of this upcoming election, which could also determine the future direction of this Supreme Court.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
A live look at City Park where a big shakeup was announced today. St. Louis City SC has fired head coach Bradley Carnell. Corey Miller joins us live from outside City Park to explain what's next. Corey.
Well, and how quickly things can change in the world of professional sports. A year ago, Bradley Carnell was leading City SC in their dream inaugural season to the top of the Western Conference. A year later, they're near the bottom of the Western Conference, and Carnell is out of a job. City made the decision today following a stretch where the club has gone 9 matches in a row without a win. That dates all the way back to May 11th. That was their last win. City is tied for the second fewest goals scored in the conference and have suffered injuries to multiple key players. Here's what sporting director Lutz Pfannenstiel said about the decision and what he thought the team had lost over this recent stretch.
The will, the mindset, the aggression, and be out there to fight till the last moment was something which was still there, but I felt it became a bit softer, it became a bit flatter, and getting now fresh blood, fresh thoughts, and a lot of motivation and a lot to play for. I think you will see a team which will be ready and very motivated on Wednesday evening.
As you just heard, City is back in action here on Wednesday against San Jose. That's the end of the Bradley Carnell era and the start of the new John Hackworth era. He is in as interim head coach. That's the story from City Park. I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
Coming up, a man convicted of killing his ex-girlfriend when she was on a date is back in court. How long he'll spend in prison and what he said during sentencing.
Well, several new laws went into effect in Illinois today, and at least one of them could take a bite out of your budget.
And the mosquito forecast still on the high side, even though it's been delightful today. Things are changing as we head towards the 4th of July. Talking about a weather impact alert starting Wednesday in just a bit.